Howdy guys, what's up? My name's Sarah and this is a speed paint of Riven, and she's the new League of Legends champion, so I'm pretty excited. They just released her splash art and abilities yesterday, and I was really excited about it, so I just decided to draw her. And this one's kind of inspired by one of her ability names, which is Broken Wings, and decided to go for that one. Here's where I'm blacking out the colors, and this is just on a normal layer, and I'm using gray to do it, which isn't really that advantageous. It's not going to be the darkest darks or, the full value scale, but it is going to give me some something to work with when I decided to change it to red and put some color behind it. So here's where I'm blocking out the colors. I still haven't decided what color I want that gray to be, because I don't like shading with gray. It makes the picture look really boring, and it's just not what you want to do. And so unless you're going like a foggy background or something, then I'd advise against using gray to shade. Or black. Both. They're really tough to work with. Here's where you see me kind of change around the colors. I'm blocking out each color on its own layer so that it's easier to clean up, and I can just change the color with the Control U dialog, which is very easy, very nice, and that way I can make sure all the colors work together and nothing gets drowned out by another one. And I took off that layer so I could sample and get the exact same color for each of the layers. I didn't want to get a slightly grayer or darker color. So, oh, by the way, I changed the shading layer to multiply, which is something I always do, if you keep watching these. But, sponsor myself. If anyone watches Toby Games. Oh, speaking of Toby Games, the reason why I got Dead Island. No, I wanted Dead Island, but it takes all the elements of a game that I did the thing. I did the color shading thing. And so what you saw me do there real fast was merge all the layers together. So I took all of the colors and that shaded layer and put them all together and excluded the background and the like line art layer, which is, I know it's just a sketch, but I call it the line art layer anyway. So I excluded all of those and mashed the colors together. That way I can shade the skin with the actual shading and the color that it's shaded, not that fake red color, which is really nice for me because I have full control over it as opposed to 50% control, which is just only shading, not. And if I was more in the phase of editing, then I'd say no, but since I've made sure I want all these colors and I don't want to really change anything too drastic, I just want to blend in all the colors, that's probably when you want to decide to merge the layers, because otherwise you're only shading with half the palette that you need to be. Oh, here's where you see me work on the fabric, and it seems that she has like a toga looking thing on with some reinforced leather kind of core and shoulder pad. So I had to make it kind of like loose fitting looking, and that was more a feat with shading as opposed to line art. So it was kind of fun, very interesting to do. Yeah, you see me heavily utilize that red. It looks good on the green because it turns it brown. It looks good on the skin because that looks like a natural skin tone. And it looks okay on the cream because it looks like the skin's reflecting back off of it. And to be honest, skin is like the, I guess, what would do the most reflecting in this piece. Other than the glowy sword. But I didn't really want to emphasize the glow on the sword, I guess. I don't know. Here's where you see me block out a few more colors on the wings. And to be honest, I don't put a lot of detail into the wings, but I do articulate them. So you'll see what I mean later. But, oh, this is where I got tired of that gray-brown and decided to spice it up a little bit. And you'll see me gradually change over all of the browns to that new color, and you'll notice that it does take a little bit of time because I didn't do it in the right phase. But that's okay. This whole thing took about 2 hours, excluding the sketch, because the sketch just takes forever based on how brilliant I am at the time. Like, I don't know, sometimes it's tough because, like, I don't really get struck with a pose immediately, but I know that I have to draw the subject. So, I mean, sometimes I just say, screw that subject, I'll do something else that fits this pose that I want to do. But for the most part, it's really tough for me to get that pose down. And, oh, one thing about the splash art, people have been like really hating on it, but I don't think it's that bad. To be honest, it's just advantageous about the pose, but that's about it. It's not that bad of a piece. I mean, it's congruent with all their other like quality stuff. So, I mean, I guess I've been around since like what Shen first came out was, I think, the first champion that was new. So, and he was like a big deal. Oh my gosh, everyone flipped out. And he was like so OP, but no, he's not. He's like normal now. You see me put some detail into the hair. That's just like basically put some down, cover it up, put some down, cover it up. Just highlighting and shadowing. Shadowing is a word, trust me. Let's see what's going on down here. This is where I start to block out those colors a little bit more accurately. And you see me try to get the darker part more shaded, and the upper part just stays the same as the chest area. And yeah, what I wanted to do was kind of have a gradient down so that the highest parts are up here, and then like it gets lower and then lower, with the, you know, more red as you go down, because the light source, I'm assuming, is like up here-ish. As you can see your face. Well, maybe like... Anyway. Yeah, it's just right up there. But yeah, so... Oh, that's another really important thing. Have a consistent light source. Even if you have to draw it in, like, you can delete it later. Or you could put a sun in the corner. It's okay. Just try to get a consistent light source. You'll eventually get the hang of it, but sometimes I have to think about it too. Like I've made mistakes. I've made a ton of mistakes. Oh, here's where you see me articulate but not detail the wings. Essentially what I wanted to do was have the difference of colors, but not really draw in every single feather, because it's not the main background. It's kind of just a it's kind of like the wings are there and she's kind of the focus. So I really don't like wings. I really don't. Ugh. Steam. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, but right, Dead Island. Great game. Fantastic. It's just like BioShock and Fallout and Dead Rising, like all combined into one. It's a really odd game that I was like, well, nothing's really revolutionary about it, but that didn't seem like a good enough reason to not get the game, especially because I haven't really bought a game in a long time. So I thought about it and I was like, you know what? It's me being biased against it for not being revolutionary isn't really a good enough reason. I mean, to be honest, Left 4 Dead, for as, you know, important as it was, and I thought it'd be just like Left 4 Dead, just by the premise and whatnot, but it was not. It was not at all. You can't help up incapacitated team members. I mean, they do have, like, variable types of zombies. Like, I used to have, like, the walkers and the tall ones and the mini tanks. They call them, like, thugs. This is one Photoshop just decided against being the right size, so I had to resize it for you guys. You're welcome. No, but anyway. Yeah, and if you guys are wondering, like, how I'm getting these colors, coming up with, like, those, you know, essentially my reference is just on my other monitor. This is one monitor, and then this is one monitor. So I'm drawing this on my big screen and just have, like, references and chat up on the other, which is really nice. And my tablet, which is what I draw with, is pretty big. It's... Actually, I can show you guys. this is the bottom of it. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's a hefty deal to handle, but it actually fits perfectly in my PC box, so when I carry it to lands and stuff, it's like the best. Actually, I've never gone landing with the tablet. That just seems counterproductive. But when I move around or like take it home or something, it's really easy to transport, so don't worry. I'm not like, barely fitting in the car. Oh, this is when I overlay it, and you like duplicate the layer, and then turn one to overlay, the top one to overlay, and then you lower the opacity of it, and I actually Gaussian blurred it, which is just in the filters, and then blur, and then you change the, like, I guess the focal point or whatever. I don't know what causes it. I don't know what the real blur situation is, but essentially you change how soft and how wide the, I guess, feather on it is. I keep using these Photoshop words, and I'm sorry. Essentially what it does is just makes everything softer. So, that's kind of nice because that way I don't have double articulation on the shading, and one layer is a little bit softer and kind of blends the first layer. And this is when I cut out the wings to make them transparent, so that I don't have a super bright white in a really weird area, just because I made it opaque as opposed to transparent. And I imported a pattern in, which you can just, it's on a normal layer in the back, and I think I even lowered down the opacity, and that's about it. I tried to change some of the colors because it looked a little bit rough, but it just didn't pan out, so I was like, alright, whatever. Put it in there. Leave it. I'll change things around it, not it. So here's where you see me kind of make a painterly type background, and you're going to see some really cool effects with this because I'm going to change it to overlay, and I think a hard light too is going to work on it, which will end up looking really nice, but I have to do it a few times in order to get it, and then I play with the opacities a little bit. So it's just a bunch of trial and error for these extra effects, to be honest. I mean, there are tutorials that you can follow to do like a glow on a sphere and like make it perfect. Like, you can follow them down to a number and do that, but I'd say for pictures I've never been able to have like a set repeatable kind of action related to the, drawing. And oh, this is about it. I put some glow on the sword, and that was in an overlay layer. And sorry I'm going a little bit fast here because, you guys don't want to sit through a 2-hour-long speed paint. Wouldn't be very speedy. That's where I sign it and watermark it so it doesn't get stolen. And there you guys have it. A finalized picture of Riven. And hopefully watch my other ones. I drew LeBlanc, and I think I have like a just basic Photoshop tutorial for all those of you who totally watch this channel, I know. As far as the channel goes, I'm thinking about maybe doing some Dead Island footage. I don't know. I'm not sure about that yet, but this is actually up on DeviantArt, so maybe like, favorite that. And keep watching and have a nice day.